See, I'm recording in here.
Yep. Okay. The time is now currently 6 p.m. on this 4/28/2026 Tuckahoe School Board meeting. Number 406, it is a regular board meeting and this will come to order, starting with our roll call. If we can start with our student directors or student representatives, we would lead us off.
Hardin Russell, sophomore student rep.
Hayden Halleck, senior student rep.
Ara Papian, Director of District 3.
And Greg Sherlock, Director of District 2.
Mitch Moran, Director of District 1.
Dr. Constance Pedrosa, superintendent.
Dave Larson, Director of District 5.
Perfect. And then welcome to all of our guests. We will be starting off with our land and labor acknowledgement. Director Sherlock, if you would read it.
I'm going to respectfully pass.
Okay, since Director Sherlock has elected to respectfully skip this, please note that on the minutes. And since that is happening, I will go ahead and take up that responsibility. So for the land acknowledgement, we in the Tuckahoe School District acknowledge that the land where we teach, collaborate, learn, and play is a traditional land of the first people of Seattle. The Duwamish and Muckleshoot people, past and present, and honor will past. Geez, hold on, sorry. The Duwamish and Muckleshoot people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish and Muckleshoot tribes. As a public school district, we have a responsibility for the stewardship of this land when we strive to work alongside the Duwamish and Muckleshoot people who have been living and working here since time immemorial. Labor acknowledgement. We further acknowledge that the burden of the environmental exploitation and systemic injustice falls upon the labor of Black and brown bodies in the building of this country and its institutions. We remember the Black and brown people who were born and died working this land against their will for generations. We also acknowledge the continued contribution of the labor of survivors over the centuries to today, of all immigrant labor, including voluntary, involuntary, trafficked, forced, and undocumented peoples in the building of what we refer to as the United States. As a school district leadership, we pledge to recognize and work against systems that have historically and currently enforce and create inequities among the people we serve. Okay, for those who wish to stand, please do so while we salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all. All right, now for our values and agreements, Director Sherlock, if you would.
Thank you. It will be my pleasure. Tuckahoe School Board values and group agreements. Transparency. Be honest. Speak or communicate with your point of view and why. Explain what you're doing in understandable or more simple terms. Ask clarifying questions and break down what's being said. Courage. Speak frankly about uncomfortable things. Listen deeply. Listen to understand. Not to respond. Minimize multitasking. Embrace the brainstorm. Lean into tough conversations. Own mistakes and address unintentional impact. Righteousness. Relentless pursuit for exploring the right thing to do, to be, or become. Challenge versus taking the easiest or cost-effective path. Curiosity. Ask questions for understanding, suspend judgment. Respect. Center humanity. Find out what respect means to each other. Active listening, seeing the whole person, recognizing what each of us might be bringing in that day. Ask what would be the impact on people.
All right, and I'm going to take a quick point of privilege here. I want to remind the board that while we all have our own beliefs, we are no longer acting in the capacity that is for our own agenda. Whether you agree with something or not, this does not excuse you from your regular assigned duties. I will push past this quickly as, sorry, but as representatives or, hold on, sorry. I will push past this quickly, but as a representatives, or as I type this up really fast, sorry guys. Basically, my point is, we have an anti-racist statement that we are going to be covering today. I asked one of our student reps to read that aloud for us. As representatives, you are telling us what we are required to do, and I want to remind everyone that we are no longer of our own agenda, and when assigned tasks are there, we should complete them. Did you
We'll
guys?
be taking turns.
Okay,
The Tuckahoe School District firmly believes that an inclusive and equitable learning environment is essential for the success of all students. We are committed to fostering an anti-racist school environment, which means actively and intentionally educating ourselves on different cultures, races, and histories. By challenging our own assumptions, listening to diverse perspectives, and fostering empathy, we can all work together to achieve this goal.
Tukwila School District will provide ongoing professional development for all staff on topics such as cultural competency, implicit bias, and the history of systemic racism. Our curriculum will reflect the diversity of our student body and include accurate representations of different cultures, races, and histories. We will create safe spaces for students to share their experiences, perspectives, and ideas on how to make our school more inclusive and equitable. We will also partner with families and community organizations to build a shared understanding of anti-racism and work together to create a more just and equitable society.
We recognize that this is an ongoing journey and that there is always more work to be done. However, we are committed to regularly reviewing and evaluating our policies, practices, and outcomes to ensure that we are making progress towards our anti-racism goals. We invite all members of the TSD community to join us in this important work. Together, we can create a school district where all students feel valued, respected, and empowered to succeed.
thank you. All right, so does the chair have a motion to approve the April 28th, 2026 board agenda as written?
So moved.
When you guys want to take a second?
Time.
All right. Got that one done? Okay. All right, on the discussion, or on this item, just all those in favor? Ayes have it. Approval of agenda is passed. All right, moving into public comment. I will start off with our one present, Joe Duffy. Oh, right.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah, that's the camera.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Joe Douglas. I'm a citizen, previous Tuckahoe City Council for 36 years. I live here in Tuckahoe. I enjoy Tuckahoe. This weekend, I had the pleasure, well, I guess it was a pleasure or not pleasure. I was in Skyway, and it was brought to my attention, and I wanted to know too, because it was brought to my attention before, and I asked this question, and I am especially addressing this to Mr. Shaw. When you was you was coming to the council meeting, and now you're on the board. Now I want to know personally, and some people are waiting to hear your answer. Why that you named Tuckahoe a ghetto? And what, now since you are on the board for the school, what are you planning on doing for the board, for the district, to get to address this question? Why and how and why you address Tuckahoe as a ghetto?
I want to remind everyone for public comment that we do not respond at this time. If there is anything else that you wanted to
No,
add,
that's it.
I appreciate it.
But I would like to say one thing.
Mhm.
We, as a citizen of Tuckahoe, would like to have an answer to that to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then moving into our submitted public comment, just to share time really quick. Sorry if I mispronounced this, but this one is coming from Vanessa Zaputil. Her public statement states, I wanted to congratulate the TSD Drama Club on the outstanding production of 12 Angry Jurors. I had the absolute pleasure of attending the Saturday evening performance and was overwhelmed by the quality and talent I witnessed. Watching some in this group develop into fine thespians over the past years has been inspiring, as has seeing new enthusiastic members join. The dedication and commitment of both those on and off stage is commendable and reflected in a tremendous production. Sitting in the audience, it was clear how much care, time, and teamwork went into every aspect of the performance, from the acting to the set and lighting, and it made for a truly memorable evening. It made the evening even more meaningful to see such dedication to the arts and the opportunity for students to share their work with the community. Thank you to everyone. All right. And that will conclude our public meeting, or our public comments, sorry. Okay, moving into our student representative reports.
Hi. 1 second.
No rush.
I'll go first. Even though mine is a lot less specific than Arlen's, but I'll go first. So since the last board meeting, a number of things have I've gone to / I've done. One, I'd like to give a great big shout out to Dave Larson for supporting the arts and sending us to go see Les Mis at the Paramount, because it was honestly the best show I've seen at the Paramount. And Dave has been giving us tickets every year now for quite a few years. And it's honestly been like the highlight of a lot of the drama people's year, other than actually performing. But like a lot of people in the drama club, wouldn't normally have access to go see anything like that. So seeing Les Mis was a delight, and we would all, I'm sure we'll say thank you at some point in a more formal capacity, but we all say thank you. Then ASB elections have been taking place at Foster High School. Class elections haven't happened yet. We're still working on that. But ASB elections have happened. We have a new president, vice president, or they'll be taking office next year. New people have been elected. I have full faith and confidence in everyone that was elected to do the jobs that they campaigned for. Then the Multicultural Assembly happened at Foster High School. This year was great. Although we had hoped to do a little more than we did than we have done in previous years by turning it more into a festival. That didn't really pan out, but the Multicultural Assembly is one of the highlights of our assemblies every single year. And I know there are some people in this room that went, and I'm sure they can attest about how cool it was and how amazing it was to see all the different cultures that make up Foster be reflected there. Jurors, 12 Angry Jurors, just came and went. That was my last high school play. I've been in 8 total productions at Foster over my 4 years, ever since I was a freshman, from playing Wadsworth and Clue to now being juror number 3 in 12 Angry Jurors. It's been a pleasure. I'm really excited to see where Foster High School's theater program goes in the future. I mean, it's only going up from here. Every year it gets better and better and better. And I'm so excited to come back, instead of being on stage, being in the audience with everyone else. And I'm really excited to see what Arden has in store for the sets going forward. Arden will touch more on this in Arden's statement, but both of us would highly recommend that the board move forward with the PAC modernization project. The PAC needs it. It really needs it. It's been promised for 4 years that there would be a renovation. I mean, the bond was passed, all of these things, the money was collected, and then it didn't end up, going through the way we thought it would go through. And here we are with a highly reduced plan from the original, everything that was originally proposed. We would highly recommend that the board would pass this version of the modernization plan. And that is all I'll talk about. I'll pass it over to them.
Since the last meeting, we had our ASB elections, like Aiden said. I'm very excited to see what they can do next year. So congratulations to all the new officers. We also had our multicultural assembly, but unfortunately I was sick that day, but I saw some videos and the performances were beautiful, like always. And over spring break, there were college tours for sophomores, which I almost went to, but I had other plans. But some of my friends went and they liked it. Also over the break, Drama Club got to see Les Mis at the Paramount, and it was amazing. So again, thank you, Director Larson, for donating the tickets. And last weekend, we performed 12 Angry Jurors, and all the shows were great, and it was very emotional since it was so many seniors last show. And this week, there is free prom clothing given out during lunch, and past years, there's only been a few options in there, but this year I went in and there was like tables full of clothes, which is really cool to see. And currently I'm studying for my AP Human Geography test and my SBA testing, which is a lot to be studying for in a couple weeks. And lastly, there's been a leak in the PAC for about a month now, and it makes me really sad. But that's all I have for right now.
And we did not receive a report from Rihanna, so we are done.
All right. All right, superintendent report.
Yes, hi, everybody. Well, we really truly are at the end of April. And I know staff and scholars hopefully deserve, but mostly deserved earned a well-deserved break. It was spring break, so right away in April, so that kind of always like shifts everything for us. And it was really fun to see the Multicultural Assembly. Before the break, Showalter hosted their annual staff versus scholar game. And then Foster High School had the assembly, which I was there the entire time. And I took videos and I shared with them and I posted, and I was really excited. It was really, and actually, to be honest, I'll just say one thing about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I really couldn't. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Even when I was at the conference, I kept reflecting on it because there were so many moments where I was thinking, this is what being in Tukwila School District's about, right? When you think of the flags and the celebrations and the cultural identity and the belonging. And what I really loved, and this is the part that is not really captured in the videos, the cheers from the students at every level, like every celebration was celebrated. And then the parents coming up and throwing money at the kids. It was really so great. Can I just say it was amazing? And it was really fun just because I could, because I grew up in a Mexican-American family. So I saw elements of my culture in there that I could celebrate. There was always something that I could connect to. And so it was really spiritual for me. It was moving. And I just saw so many things, so many interconnectedness too between the different performances. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I still can't stop thinking about it. And I will just say the video of the opening of the flag ceremony, I had over 1,000 views in a week. So what I'm telling you, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's on like boring business LinkedIn.
Wow.
So 1,000 views on boring LinkedIn is a lot, by the way. So just letting you know, 1,000 views, over 1,000 in the first week. I couldn't believe it. People were just like, and people were like, yeah, it was great. From New York, from everywhere. So I just wanted you to know that it was a very powerful, and what's even more powerful, it was student led. Student designed, ASB created. So that's the part that's even more powerful, is it was just a really thing about who we are as a district, as a school, and how we celebrate everyone's identities and everyone's cultures. And I think that's what's amazing about that, really embodies the spirit of our anti-racist goals. So I really want to make sure I really give props to all of you, because it was your team that planned all of that. So thank you. I just want to also thank the staff. So we did it last time we were here, we did a big shout out to certain people behind the scenes. But now we're in the phase of, we went live the day after spring break. And I will call, we made a joke, I call it the whack-a-mole phase, where the Sylvias and the all of these and the Jess's and all the people and the Amy's are actually sitting down and helping solve customer service requests, and they're problem solving and things are coming up. But I want to say, I just want to thank all the people behind the scenes, the teachers, everyone, educators, principals. You have been nothing but flexible. You have been nothing but supportive, communicative. I mean, we haven't heard anything because people are just like leaning in and supporting each other. And that's also the spirit of Tukwila, right? We're flexible, we're nimble, and we get it done. And so, but it's not because, it's because of some really mighty people who are really paying attention and leaning in. So I just want to thank you for all of that. So thank you, because it's not a small thing to be customer service oriented. It's not a small thing to be in service to others. And it's not a small thing to really want to reach out and support people who might need you. All of those things are really important. And then our amazing Foster High School robotics made it to state. I mean, they did pretty well. So I just want to say it was really fun to see Mr. Matthias afterwards. He has all these ideas. He stopped me in the hallway and said, "Thank you, Dr. Pedrosa. Thank you for your support." And he said, "And I have these ideas." And so I'm excited to work with him on some of his ideas. So amazing job. He's been steady Eddie again with that robotics team. Keep going, building it like your drama club. Building. And then just continued growth, excellence. That's also the spirit of this. Could we just keep improving and keep working at it? So it's been really fun to kind of like see all these things. And then our secondary parent-teacher conferences. We're in a unique position where we actually get to host secondary parent-teacher conferences, which doesn't happen all the time. Critical time, it's gonna be May 13th. I think it is important for families to come and meet with their teachers. I think there's a misnomer out there that it's after elementary school that, you know, and I know your teenager might say they don't need to be in school, but guess what? We do. You do. You need to be connected and need to learning about, you know, college, financial aid, you know, career technical education, skill set, like all the things. How do we get AP? How do we get college on the high? Like whatever your questions are, how can my students struggling with attendance? Whatever it is. And that's that partnership between family and students. And I will say, like, our attendance has been pretty phenomenal. So I would love to see that continue to grow too. Kudos to the drama club. Good job, you guys. I had posters up everywhere. Thank you, Arden, for the posters. And I just keep hearing what an amazing day and what amazing performance that is. Cascade View celebrated today. It was pretty fun. Can I just say it was fun? They celebrated today was the last day of their 27-year veteran custodian, Mr. Ivan Kistel. And all the kids were like, Mr. Ivan, they did poems, they did singing. And I love the song that said just the ending always, Mr. Ivan is the best. And they go, Mr. Ivan is the best. Mr. Ivan is the best. And 27 years at Cascade View, can you believe that? Like he has adults coming back who remember him. Like that's what's amazing, right? 27, and you should, so I have a great picture of him. The picture of him is with his hands up in the air, like just thanking the kids. It was very cute. And so I want to thank Dr. Franstad and the team at Cascade View for really honoring, that's really about the unsung heroes in our school, the foundation in our schools, right? And they had a breakfast and assembly in his honor. I was really privileged to be there. And then just reminder to folks, this week marks the end of April leading into May. This Friday is Principal Appreciation Day, so please shout out to Miss Parker, Miss Rieger, Dr. Brunstad, Mr. Coyle, Dr. Herda, now she's Dr. Herda, and Miss Nur, and then our assistant principals, Ms. Perez, Mr. Lorca, and Ms. Roganaki. So just shout out to them, please. And then the following week, for those of you who don't know, next week is a big week. It's Educator Teacher Appreciation Week. They get a whole week. So they get a whole week. So just a reminder to everyone in the community and our staff and our families. I just shared a lot of shout outs about a lot of amazing people. So let's show our appreciation to them. And then also just remind folks, and I'm just gonna say a few things, because education has so many months, but we want to make sure we continue to honor our Asian Pacific Heritage Month, our scholars, our students, our staff, our families, Jewish American Heritage Month, and then also it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So I think this is a really good reminder that wellness matters. We have to take care of ourselves. These are stressful times for people. And let's check in on each other, make sure people have resources and support. And we shouldn't have a month to do that. It should be every day, but it is a good reminder. And that's my report.
Thank you. All right, Director Papion, if you would.
Thank you. This month, I got to attend a instructional round with President Forehand, Chief Academic Officer Whitbeck, and Dr. Droza. We got to go to Cascade View and hear from Principal Sermstad, who showcased us. The building was my first time actually within the classroom, so we got to see a lot of student scholars who were in the classroom. I would say shout out to Mr. John and Mrs. Tapia. Mr. John was teaching a math course, and seeing so many kids who were just involved, trying to help. We were given tokens of appreciation. So anytime we saw a scholar acting in the best interest of the school and their peers, we went and rewarded to them, and you can see their faces light up. So I think it was a really good strategy from Principal Firmstad. And same with Ms. Tapia. Her dual language, I didn't understand anything Spanish, but like the kids there, they were great. And so I was trying to pick up, on the language a little bit, but I just really like that Principal Firmstad also allowed for just a tour around the campus. One other thing is I went to Tukwila Community Center on the 16th, I believe. And attended a soccer match that was hosted by the Tukwila Elementary School and the Cascade View Elementary. The Tukwila Elementary boys, my own little brother was playing, so it's really exciting to see him, shoot some soccer balls on target. The boys did win 7-4, and the girls team won 5-0. I do want to say though, Cascade View had a nice coordinated jersey, so it was really cool seeing them. I think so organized as well. And then I think the following week, I also stopped by Tukwila Community Center, where this time Thorndike was playing against Cascade View, just for a little bit. And then again, it was great because I also saw Principal Hani Nur at one of the games, so got to talk and really appreciated all the staff and the volunteers just making the active sports and engagement for students. I think it's a really exciting time for kids to, especially who are loving soccer in a time where we're going to have FIFA soon in the summer. So it's a really exciting time to be a FIFA sports fan, I would say. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to the 12 Angry Jurors play, although I heard great things. I think that will conclude my board report.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sherlock. Director Sherlock.
Thank you. I just also like to mention what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. I myself also went to the 12 Angry Jurors. I enjoyed it greatly. Both of our student representatives were on were actors in that, did a great job. There was a number of students that just really did. I was really surprised at how well they enunciated their lines and played really, really well. So really well directed. It was an excellent event. This is the program that you had. And if I could, I'd just like to read a little bit of the back. It's really on the back page. It says, both the film and stage version of the show were widely recognized as classics, and the themes have been proven timeless across the decades since its release. Its analysis of bias, prejudice, and human nature is still referenced almost 70 years after its original release, and is the reason it is so popular among high school and amateur groups. To make it more accessible, it has been adapted to several different versions, including 12 Angry Women, and the version you will see right now, 12 Angry Jurors. So again, congratulations for that. Also in the mail, if you live in Tukwila, you may have gotten a enroll today card. I appreciate getting these. I just talked about enrolling into different classrooms and situations. It was very nice. And then on this side, it talks about we're hiring bus drivers, interpreters, and substitutes. So again, you may have gotten that in the mail. And then the last thing I'd like to highlight just really quickly is I also went and saw the boys Foster baseball team. I watched one of their practices a couple weeks ago, and it was great to see that team putting as much energy in it. Unfortunately, the following week when they played Lindbergh, it was a tough game. But one of the things that so impressed me about that group of baseball players is even though they were, shall we say, getting beaten pretty hard in the first couple innings, they didn't give up. Those guys played to the very end. They played their heart out. They scored several runs, a total of 4. They fielded better as the game went on and on. It was really an outstanding game for them. And I'm so encouraged by that is because a number of those players are very young. So as we move forward in the next year and the year after, I think that Foster is going to have a great baseball team. So congratulations to them as well as their coach. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Larson?
No, just okay. So I was going to start with the robotics team. Just a little history on them. They started back in 2020, and at that time, that was before the remodel of Foster High School, and we didn't really have any room for them. And so Highline School District had an empty elementary school that they had abandoned, and they had their robotics team working out of there, and they allowed our team to go over there and start working with all the tools and equipment and everything. And so it started there, and then after we did the remodel of Foster High School, we now have a really nice facility for them in Mr. Shaman's classroom with all the tools and the laser cutters and the 3D printers and all the stuff that they need to really do a first-class job. So I just want to, if people ever ask, so what did we get for the bonds that we approved in 2016? One of the results of that is the robotics team and how excellent they've done. They've been going since 2020, and this year is by far their best year. And they, Dr. Mendoza mentioned state. Actually, it's a regional final because the first robotics league includes all of Oregon and Washington. And so what they went to was got to the regional conference, which is I think 50 teams get that far, and Foster ended up 27th out of that group. And if you had finished in the top 21, actually they could have gone to the next thing, which is the Nationals in Houston, Texas, which is taking place this week. So they came really close to actually making it to the Nationals, which is phenomenal. And I will say that this area that we're in here, this particular district. Last year, the national champion came from this district to give you, or from this area, not, and so to give you an idea how competitive the league that they're competing in is, and the fact that they were able to get as far as they did, this has been their best year ever. And as Dr. has mentioned, they just keep getting better and better and better, and that program is growing like crazy. And I did want to just share a little 2-minute video. When they were down in Auburn, which was the competition before they went over to Cheney, they won an award. And one of the awards that they give out, the best ones are engineering awards. And this particular one is the Creativity Award, which is an award was given for the best kind of original engineering part of the robots. And this particular competition was about collecting up a bunch of balls and putting them into a hoop. And so they had designed this really clever way to collect the balls, and so they don't get jammed and everything. And so it's just a couple-minute clip. You can see them getting the award, if we can make it go. The sound.
Your sound.
Oops. Try one more time, maybe.
Next award is the Creativity Award that's sponsored by Rockwell Creative Robotics.
Actually, no.
Attributes that enhance the capacity of play and with intentionally designed and
I can hear, but it's quiet. The bottom, down the bottom, below, the next one.
Yeah. Can you start it over? Because this is really interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Better?
Yeah. It's full of times.
I know, right?
So you're seeing this is the competition area. It's in a gym, and 3 teams are on the left, 3 teams are on the right, and the robots go in the middle. They pick up all those little balls and toss them in the bins, which you see kind of in the middle. And there's, it's a fairly complicated thing, but it's really entertaining to watch. And it requires, you can't see the robots, but they're good sized robots and take a lot of engineering for it. And there's the whole team. 2 more. It's not, the teachers, they have some coaches, and they have, actually, of course, all the students are there as well. So that's a really kind of prestigious award to get because of their engineering. So yeah, that's it. The other thing I did want to mention on that team. So they sent 16 of the students went to Cheney for the big event, and you think of robotics and technology as kind of male dominated, but there was actually 6 girls on that team out of the 16. So nice job for the girls, because that program has always been, it's tends to be more boys, but the girls are well represented on that team as well. So, let's see. Yeah, I went to the choir concert. which was great. We need, there's some work we need to do on the sounds and how to use, the choir concert this year there was the choir portion of it, which was great. There's no problem with sound because, you don't really need to use the mics. But there was a whole section of kind of individual and small groups, and I don't think we quite have the mics down for that part of it. But I know we're working on it. It was a little too bad because I know all the students that worked really hard and you couldn't really hear some of the.
Some students, it was better than others.
Yeah. But it's a learning experience about using mics and microphones and auditoriums and all that, which is, this is an educational institution, so we should be doing that. And then I did go to the drama, the 12 Angry Jurors, which they were using the wearable mics, and the sound was really, really excellent. I mean, it's one of those things. Sound of these is always kind of my big thing, because it's particularly in a production like that, and all productions actually, hearing all the words clearly is really important to get the whole advantage of the presentation of the play. And it was very topical. I think it should be actually required viewing for actually all citizens, because it talked about how to, all the ins and outs of what goes on in the jury room, and it's one of the, big responsibilities of citizens is to be on jurors. I've actually got a jury summons coming up in June, so it turned out to be very, very timely to recall that. And so it was a really, really well done play. The staging, we have the stage director here in our midst. She did a really nice job. It's a minimalist set, but that's exactly the way it's supposed to be, because the focus is on the jury and everything. So anyway, it was very well done. Dr. Joseph and I sat down a little bit with Representative Berquist. He's kind of a mixed bag for us, because in some ways he is working on some things like the issue we have with not getting paid for substitutes. He's working on some things to try and address the cost of utilities. He got a bill, it didn't pass, but to reduce the cost of utilities for school districts. He's thinking about the insurance issue. The disappointing thing is he really is not interested at all in working on what I call the equity and funding issues. So, getting more money going to the high poverty schools and that. And so anyway, I've been working other ways to try and attack that issue, but he provides some support, but not as much as we would like. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. I did have one other thing. I did sit on the exit audit from the Washington State auditors and we had a completely clean audit. So congratulations to the business office for getting through an audit in another year. And clean that, I've been, 16, 17 years, and clean audits maybe a handful of times. It's not that easy to get a totally clean audit. And so anyway, good job to our business office.
Yeah.
One more point of information for the board. I had to text my friend in robotics, really shout out to Jade, but they are in the top 15% in the world.
Nice.
Like worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've added up, there's like 1,000 school districts in Washington, Oregon. And so, if, first of all, there's only 150 that have teams, and of that, so it puts you in the top 15, and then in the area, and then 50 go to, so yeah, I mean, we're way, way up there. And when I look at the other teams, a lot of the other teams are coming from really much higher income areas.
Yeah.
And so it's just doubly and triply impressive that they, like I say, each year they get better and better and better.
Yeah, 18th place in Washington State, 27th place in the Pacific Northwest, and 569 out of 3,724 robotics teams worldwide.
Yeah, actually the Houston thing is more than a national, it is worldwide, because I mean, there's first robotics in Israel and one place in Canada, so it is actually the world finals.
Yeah.
mostly United States, but anyway, yeah. That student is an overlap. He does some drama work and robotics.
Go Jade, go
Yeah, right.
robotics.
Go full robotics team. I mean, that was a 2-minute video. Awesome.
Yeah, top 15% in the world.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
No,
excuse me, that is amazing.
That's crazy and amazing. It's all great. I just want to make sure that this has been steady work over time, right? It's really amazing. That's great.
All right, is that?
Yep.
All right, and then to close out on me, aside from my prep work for these meetings, I've been slowly plugging away at that Robert's Rule of Order book. I'm working to get that annotated, and hopefully it'll be done before the beginning of next school year, so we have a lot more smoother meetings and a lot more rules covered. I have also been making sure that I have been going over board policies to make sure that we are better supporting our admin staff and our scholars. I want to remind the rest of the board that that is part of your homework, so knowing these rules to prevent yourself from breaking them and others from breaking them. So if you do have a point of order against me, I do talk very fast and sometimes I skip over stuff, so please call a point of order. I've also had meetings with the pool, with community members, and will be attending meetings like the CTE Advisory Board on May 20th, the State of the City meeting tomorrow at 6, and a few other events that will be helping us as a board continue to expand our connection to the wider community at large. I did have a chance to go with the instructional rounds at Cascade View. I know we have a couple more coming up in the end of May. Hopefully I'll be able to get to those. It's been hard to juggle this and the new job, but I'm doing my best. I am also going to be upholding the changes that I have been making, especially with more that I learned about the Robert's Rules of Order. So again, if you need to remind the chair or any one of us directors, please make a point of order, including those in the audience. Only raise a point when you have been acknowledged by the chair, and make sure to call for that point or and wait for you to be called on for that point of order if I'm missing anything or if improper steps are being done. Otherwise, we now have our legislative report.
I don't think we have.
No.
Nothing on this one?
No, I gave a little report in the personal school for Representative Brooks.
Request.
All right. Oh, yeah, we didn't even have that on the agenda. Well, never mind, that was my error. All right, so moving into the consent agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made or anything that needs to be addressed? Okay, with that, does the chair have a motion to approve the consent agenda in full?
So second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Consent agenda is approved. All right, board handbook. So before we get into our board retreat, or actually, did you have anything to add on this, Dr. Joseph?
Point of order for the board, I'm gonna say this for the 17th time.
Okay.
You state the motion, second, and then discussion, and then you restate the motion for discussion / for the no vote, and then you vote again. Not to beat a dead horse.
No, it's definitely something I gotta fix, I think.
I don't think you have to redo the vote or anything. I mean, I don't think there will be any discussion, but you know, just for future reference.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other points? Okay, so before we get into our board retreat, I want to check in with everyone and make sure that we are reviewing our current board agreements, anything that needs to be amended, or at least confirm that we are doing our homework before that actual meeting takes place. As you know from the chair's last discussion on this, we will be holding that board retreat to not only go over the new board agreements, guiding principles, and board goals, but we will also be covering board discipline. Keep that in mind when you are drafting your new guiding principles and preparing for that meeting. We are not letting go of any current violations, including the one that was just raised. Thank you for that, Student Representative Allen. To use the words from Emma Wool, the TEA Vice President, Tukwila families and educators agree that our students deserve the best education that helps them grow and thrive. Tukwila Education Association members, both classified and certified, have been dedicated to their careers to teaching and supporting the diverse student population and families of the Tukwila community. While we are continuing to plan out the logistics of this board retreat, I want to also use some of those words again. The TA expectations are that we are meeting student needs first. That is the expectation of the teachers, the scholars, and our administration. I can also guarantee that it is the desire of our beautifully diverse community. So every student deserves to feel safe, heard, and seen. On that, does anyone have any outstanding issues with the 4 items presented for that meeting? Okay, moving on. Questions only presentation, starting with our highly capable staff. Okay, did we have any questions that were not answered or feel like we need more elaboration?
I have a question, I'm just pulling it up, so
Yeah.
I'll be ready in a moment.
So while you're doing that, I can just, the one thing I did want to kind of point out, because it comes up quite a bit, on page 5, there's a table with the number of students that are taking college and high school English 101. And that's, I think that was updated, so that's 112 this year are signed up for that, 48 seniors and 64 juniors. So those are college credit classes, and it's there's been, I think concern we've heard from students about, the rigor, losing rigor or something. And part of that, I know in one of the courses of graduate, classes where students were concerned, they've been talking to their older siblings or others that, AP classes, that's the only way you can get, rigor. And I think the message is pretty clear going out, or needs to go out to students that, we're not reducing rigor. What we're doing is actually shifting some of to these college and high school courses, and people are jumping on them. And there's some real advantages to those versus the AP courses. First of all, the college and high school are actually accredited by a university or college, in this case Eastern or whichever ones we're using, Central, and you actually get college credit. Which AP courses you actually would have to take a test at the end of the course in addition to the course, and then maybe a college would accept it and maybe they wouldn't. So what we're actually shifting here, and I see that like 260 students have signed up for the 26-27 college and high school English 101, which is, that's over half the class, and just have signed up for that. And so that tells me that, people are taking advantage of that. And so, yeah, go ahead.
It's the only option.
For college and high school?
It's the only English option.
Oh, the only English option.
For juniors now, so.
Okay, all right. So I guess the interesting thing to me is going to be to see at the end of this year, how many students actually pass the course.
I can respond. Scott Whitbeck, Chief of Schools and Academics. I spoke with Mrs. Parker, the principal of Foster High School, about that same question. And she did assure us that students will still be able to take the standard class or they can take the college and high school class. So they will still have that option. So that may be different than what students are heard.
Well, the only thing on the class request sheet is English 101. So I do not know how a student would know that they could request a standard class if the only thing listed on their request sheet is an English 101 class.
And the advisory teachers have never mentioned that, or the counselors either.
Okay, thank you. I'm taking notes so I can talk to Ms. Parker again on that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to contradict anyone.
No,
It's just,
it's good to know. Yeah, we'll just throw this up.
Yeah, it's a fairly significant shift that's going on. I think it will behooves us to pay attention to how the implementation is going or not going, and whether the students are fully prepared. These are mostly junior and senior courses. The other advantage the college and the high school has is if it's successfully implemented, then hopefully we should see less students doing running start and going somewhere else, and so we get some more income. But I mean, you guys are absolutely right. We need to keep an eye on it to make sure that it's working the way we hope it works.
Yeah.
I guess the other, so I asked some questions about so that we see some disproportionalities, which I hope we can, some work on, particularly in the highly capable categories related to MLL students and Black and Latin students, Latinx students. And, I forgot the original, presentation was just everybody and then Showalter and Foster, and so it kind of left out, okay, so what about the elementaries? And when I see the elementary breakout, you know, the massive disproportionality for African American students is pretty evident. And so that's a big one I think we should be paying a lot of attention to, because, you know, we know that a lot of it, you know, gets planted into students' heads about what they're good at and so forth happens at the elementary school. And so when I see that large of a disproportionality for Black students, that's just not, you know, we have to figure that one out and get that one fixed, because it's just too big. And then also, you know, the multilingual is the same thing. So there's work to do in terms of figuring out, you know, how to address those disproportionalities and get the, you know, a better mix of students into the highly capable programs. So.
Thank you. Those are questions as part of my survey that will be the street data that I ask of the highly capable coordinators of each school when we come together for the next couple of weeks and I would like them ahead of time to just survey staff, because we want to see, is there other screeners that are available and eligible, but we were not using them, that would bring in kids who are maybe not stereotypically gifted, still are gifted, have eligible, highly capable, but don't maybe respond as well on the standard test. So that's one of the things I wanted to ask them and we need to look at, because that may be a barrier for some kids.
Yeah, and the other one that was brought up by one of the teachers that came in with this idea that I'm not sure how we're handling that, you know, particularly on the MLL students, they could be really good at math. I mean, I've seen enough of our students over the years that a lot of our immigrant students come with, you know, great math skills. Obviously, they're still learning English. So how do we differentiate to give them the challenge that they need in math while they're maybe getting up to speed on English? And so that's I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of things, training and how you differentiate it and so forth and so forth. But that could be one of the reasons why the MLL ones are so low potential.
Yeah, that's sure. That'd be one of them. And I think Dudley area assessment tries to rely less on English fluency to be able to show.
Right.
But I don't think there's no tool that's perfect. So that's still, it's got to be a factor.
Right. Yeah, we know that the screening tools are one part of it, but there's also a teacher evaluation there, and there's, a variety of factors in there.
And part of that will become, they will be looking for with the gifted coordinators is what professional development do we need to offer for teachers so they are, better equipped to identify giftedness and readiness compared to our higher rigor classes that maybe they're not aware of all those ways right now, but we can build them.
Perfect. Was there anything else on this?
No, Director Larson asked all the questions that student director Aiden Halleck had. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And then just for reference, that there was additional questions written on the question answer sheet, that there's 5 questions. So they're posted on the board doc, so you can review those as well. Yeah. With the data, and more information.
And with highly capable, I wanted to give us the time to actually expand on this, but just as a reminder, these are question presentations that we are just reviewing what is there. In the interest of time, we will kind of push a little bit. But if there's nothing else on highly capable, we will move on to our monthly financial report for March 2026 with Amy Fleming, which I don't think we had any questions on that.
Actually, I do have one. So I was looking at this, we'll be talking more about this later with the PAC modernization, but I was looking at the capital projects fund, which we have $8 million in there. So is there a split between levy originated dollars and, bond dollars?
So Amy Fleming, Chief of Finance and Operations, yes, so in the budget, actual details, we have a budget for what's left on the bond, and then, how we track the levy proceeds. And so we have accounting that tracks for those, separately. And so yes, there's funding set aside in the 2016 bond, and a lot of that is related to the PAC, that's left over.
So can you tell me how many of the 8 million is in each?
So it's about 2.4 million is left in the bond.
Okay.
And then the remainder is, pretty much the levy. We had a little bit, and we have a couple of grants that we're having for the solar panels. So part of that budget is also reflective of, those two projects as well. So,
Is that included in the 8 million or is that?
yes. It's included in the budget. It's
Yeah,
not
but,
included
yeah.
in the money, but we have all of the funding, and they're all tracked separately as a result. So we'll be tracking those two projects for the solar panels
Yeah,
in their own unique account codes.
right, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's kind of a separate amount
Correct.
from the bond or
Yes.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, when I did the math, I was adding up the all from the previous, one of the previous presentations, all the, capital projects that we have on, and it seems like it's like 3.5 million. It seems like there's some more money that's available in the capital projects than we're projected to spend for this year.
Potentially, so we always budget to maximum
Yeah.
of what we're going to get for levy proceeds.
Right,
And then if sometimes the projects don't come through until the following year, so it kind of depends on timing, what's happening. You know, what our capacity is to get the projects going. Part of it is related to the fighting conditions. And so we weren't spending as much in the capital projects in the beginning because we were borrowing from the
Right.
capital projects fund.
right,
So all of that was in play. And so that's part of the reason why we have kind of a large balance now, is because some of those projects that we were starting got delayed, and so now we're keeping those a little bit further on.
and I guess the other question, I noticed that in the top 10 projects, a good chunk of them, you know, 1.3 million were the stuff going on at Foster High School, the mold and all that kind of stuff. Are we gonna get any rebate from either insurance or warranties
We're
on that?
working on that now.
Okay.
So we did file a claim. We just don't know if we're going to be reimbursed 100%
Yeah.
or what that is looking like. So
Okay, so there's a
there's
good,
potential that we would even have more if that happens.
right, right,
But
okay,
I don't want to plan for it
Right.
and ask about it
Sure.
until I know for sure what's happening. So,
right.
yeah.
Can I ask an additional question just on this insurance repayment? Was the insurance companies allowed the opportunity to see the
Yes,
damages
they're required
before?
to. Oh, yeah, they have claim adjusters that come in and do all the reviews. They look at all of our data. And so, yes, they're definitely on board.
I have a long background in that, and so it's so important.
Yep.
Let the insurance company see it before you start your repairs, unless it's an emergency
Yeah.
situation, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, excellent.
Okay, and as another reminder, if it's not on the agenda, item for previous questions, let's, for time interest. All right, if that will conclude, Amy, but I would say you're still here. 2025, 2026 budget forecast, it looks like there was no questions on that. We'll allow a couple of questions if there is anything pressing. Okay, if not, then we shall move into our Verizon proposal with Liliana.
She's online.
Okay. Was there any questions for Liliana? Or anything for the 9 questions that were asked?
Well, are you guys gonna have you don't really have a recommendation here.
No, so what we were trying to do is to just get some initial feedback
Okay.
from you all on whether we should even entertain the
Yeah,
idea of moving forward with a
Right.
potential lease. And knowing that there's additional work that needs to be done. Obviously, based on all the questions that you asked, there's additional work that needs to be done. But we didn't want to do any work on this if you all have zero interest in this concept or even this idea, because I know that certain boards in different districts feel very strongly one way or another. And so we didn't want to put a lot of time and effort into this. Unless we had the green light from you all, then we would do due diligence and obviously come back with a recommendation to move forward or not move forward. So.
So I think Liliana just quit.
Yes,
Liliana?
hello. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm home, and I hope that you can hear me well. Amy is correct. So we wanted to present the idea to the board to see if you would like to entertain and see what it will be your recommendation to move forward or not with this project.
Well,
I just wanted to jump to question number 6 or 7, excuse me. The question was about Verizon sounds like the word is force, can require or the school district to lease them additional land if we lease them the basic 300 square feet. The question wasn't answered in that way. It just said that they were just going to lease the approximate 300 square feet. Is there a limit? If they come back to us and say, well, we want to force you to lease an additional 500 square feet. I mean, is there any limit on that? I mean, obviously, if it's 10 feet, I'm not going to
Right,
worry.
so the lease hasn't been moved in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And so that is part of the language that we would look at very closely and probably strike to say that, they can't come and require any kind of expansion if the board said, no, we're not interested in that. So, I mean, obviously, the leases would be under negotiation as well, as far as how the language is written. This would definitely go through an attorney review, somebody who is much more versed in some of the legalities, especially related to cell phone tower leases, where they would be weighing in on language, and I'm sure that they would be picking up on that like immediately as well, saying, nope, strike this language, this isn't sufficient. So again, we weren't going to spend any money on this until we had a conversation with you, because I don't want to spend money with an attorney if there is no desire to move forward with this potential lease. So that's kind of where we are right now.
The attorney might cost more than $80,000 a year, but yeah, it depends if we, I guess, look at it for the future, 3 years or further. I guess I think my biggest concern, or not concern, but just curiosity, was like the health aspect or noise. I mean, I don't think it, it will be much affected because it's not like people. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I don't have a strong stance on whether I oppose to it or for it. I would say again, maybe, yeah, depending on reviewing, spending time, is it worth the money? I don't know.
I also want to throw out there in my research of donations, they do not follow our mission statement in any way. They do not follow our values. They do not follow what we are representing as a district. So I want to keep that. The chair definitely recommends that we turn this down, especially with how much lease language there is to essentially hurt our district. If we want to, we can take an informal vote with a yay or nay, and then we can motion to take it to the next meeting if we wanted to make it all official. Or if we all know right now, then this is squashed and let it be DOA.
How do you guys feel?
You have to amend the job.
I think you get the opportunity to have Verizon come in and give us a brief on it.
We do, but you have to do an amendment to the agenda.
Yeah, they can't do a vote.
We can't even do a simple A. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, kind of, but you can't do it.
Well, nothing, like, that's why I say informal, if we have 4 or 5 saying no already, but we can table this for the next meeting and go from there.
I mean, everybody can express, so I'm, not crazy about this idea. I see, putting, first of all, I would want to hear a lot from the community about, what they're feeling about it before I would even consider it. I don't, their proposal is, well, better cell phone service is gonna, increase property value. I'm a little skeptical about that one. I mean, in my house, cell phone service is really lousy, but it doesn't matter because I just use the phone through the Wi-Fi, so it doesn't, I'm not sure that, dealing with a lot of the legal situation here, if we had to go up against Verizon on some legal issue, I mean, their legal budget is a heck of a lot, gonna blow us out of the water. So it just doesn't, for whatever it is, even if we negotiated a bigger number it just doesn't seem like it's worth the risk. That's where I'm sitting at the moment, so.
Yes,
We're going down the line.
go ahead.
Okay. Same things, Director Larson was concerned about. They installed some, these towers next door to my house a number of years ago. And I was very concerned about any, electromagnetic or radiation effect. And I went to the city board and I spoke about it, and the city had no control over that. And if it was going to be increased over the years or whatever, it is a concern. I'm very concerned about what the community says. However, this is a very small piece of property. We're talking about something that's 15 by 20, which is much smaller than this room. And some of those questions about the track and things like that, those were some of my questions as well. As I said, I'd like to give them the opportunity to at least answer our questions by giving us a presentation. But I do agree, particularly on your issue about the legal fees. They could blow us out of the water, and that's concerning.
Well, we will table this for our next work session to be discussed more. And then we can take it to a vote on our next regular board.
Order, I just have a question.
Question.
So, go ahead.
You start. Go ahead.
That's all right.
Director Poppy, she wants you to start.
I had a question, which was if we needed to make any, I guess what was presented in the doc was whether we need to move forward with entertaining the proposal, but I was understanding that we have to formally vote on it.
And it's not on the agenda today for formal voting, so we'll discuss it more in the work session.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into a regular meeting unless you had a.
No, I was just gonna get that too.
Okay,
You want
yeah.
it for the next meeting
Yeah,
to be discussed, to move forward or not.
yeah,
Got it.
great. Thank you.
Sounds like if it's a work session, we'll probably just talk about the same thing we just talked about.
Basically, but we'll have more time to look into it and actually
Yeah.
explore it a little bit more.
Okay.
And go from there, but
Okay.
it sounds like we're heading in the direction of no, but again, without any informal vote or anything like that, I don't want to go against agenda, so we will table that for the work session to
I guess
go
the-
into more detail.
Yeah, I guess the question is, in the work session, do you want to bring in Verizon?
If we can swing that,
Oh,
yes, that would probably be
Okay.
best.
Okay,
But again, we'll see if that is within their schedule and with the agenda. All right, any other points on this agenda item? All right, moving into Foster High School PAC modernization cost opinion. Liliana again.
Yes. All right. So what we presented is the cost of the remodeling of the PAC. On my memo, I inform you that the right now the budget that we have for remodeling the PAC is at $2.4 million, which is way less than what we started in the beginning in 2022. so with that, we have a meetings with the students, the drumming students, and we also had a meeting with architects and design. So we are presenting you the primary cost association with it that the students decide to take, which is the primary scope is based on lighting, audio, and the painting of the school. So the cost at this moment will be 1.989, almost $2 million. This is not included the design fees, permits, or taxes within our 2.4 overall project budget. So based on the information that we had, the conversations that we had, I do recommend to move forward to do the primary scope on lighting, audio, and painting. We do know that also there is a secondary scope, which is the rigging stage and the seating cost of that part. But if we try to do both of them, we don't have enough funds. We don't have enough budget to complete the whole project. So we are presented it, and we're asking the board to move forward with the primary scope and to do the project.
So is most of the primary, it looks like it's related to electrical work?
Yeah, lighting, audio, and the painting is more the electrical part of that. The panels, the low voltage panels, the stage lighting, house lighting, and the circuits of the works, that part of the work. So we need to do distribution, dimmers, transfer switch, low voltage panels, in order to bring the lighting part of the pack up.
I'm curious.
Hold on, Larson. Director Sherlock had his hand raised first.
Okay. I just wanted to say before I asked the question, I'm very, very pro drama, very pro the PAC. I do think this is a lot of money. And so I asked some great questions. And one of the questions I asked about, number 2, was addressing rigging deficiencies. And I noticed that the question's answered, and that's a safety issue. And I'm very concerned about that, about safety issues. And yet, when I look at the secondary scope, rigging, stage, and seating, it's considered a secondary item. So it doesn't look like we're going to be addressing it in the primary. I can use the word restoration, upgrade. Am I reading that correctly, or am I reading that incorrectly?
Right. So the idea is we have just enough budget to do one or either of those projects, the primary and the secondary. Based on the information that we receive by the students and the school, they would like to do the primary work. Cost associated to do the primary work comes to 1.9, not including the cost of permits and architect fees and design, etc. Now, if the board decides to do the second part of the work, the secondary primary, we can do also that. Either or, the primary or the secondary. That student and the schools are leaning to do the primary part. So that's what we are presenting that as a primary goal, and to do that primary part of the project.
Okay, before you, Director Larson, you had a point.
So have we, and I guess I'm looking to the students a little bit, since you're both from the drama club.
Hi.
Do you feel like the sound system was improved and spent last year? Do you feel like the sound system is where it needs to be? Because I don't see anything on this in the primary scope related to sound system. And, you know, one thing that came, I mean, last year I did a little tour of various other school performing arts facilities. And one of the things I noticed that almost all of them have, you know, speakers on each side of the stage. And we have ours, you know, kind of up in the middle. And so I'm wondering if, you know, we've examined the sound system sufficiently, you know, that maybe some enhanced sound should be part of this package as well.
Yeah, so I was a part of the planning meeting and we were talking about our priorities, which were lighting and audio.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stay the whole meeting, but originally audio was on the primary sections. I don't know why it's not there, or maybe it's hidden somewhere. I don't know what it is. But yeah, our sound system isn't great, and we talked about getting new speakers, either a center one or one on each side. I don't remember what we decided, but it is high up on our priorities list.
Okay, so I guess that's one input to this. I think it's missing from, because it is listed up there as a top lighting audio, and then there's nothing in there for audio. So I think
Right,
that's,
so, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. So yes, so we did have a conversation about audio and we did have a conversation about also the sound and the lighting. Now, if we add sound and lighting, we're gonna go above our 1.9 and our budget's 2.4. So we had to choose and be within our budget. So the sound part of the conversation became a second priority. Another priority for them, but it was more important for the students to have the lighting, audio, and the painting of the school.
Yeah, so I don't think I would support that. I'm not sure. You know, having a couple speakers on the side, I'm not sure what that would cost. And you know, I don't. This first of all, this 2.4. 2.4. I don't. You know, I think levy dollars could be spent for some of this stuff. I mean, when we're talking about, I was looking at levy dollars. You know, if we're saving energy, like the LED lighting stuff could come out of levy dollars. It doesn't have to come out of the bond dollars. So I think there's ways to move some numbers around to be able to get a good sound system.
Conversations were also move around that subject too as well. And we're gonna have to, if we do sound system and we use the levy money, we are going to make some adjustment for the next year's levy. Information or could be added to also on the same year's levy. I don't have my budget for levy dollars for next year. And so we can try to budget it for next year and see if we can get it that way and do the whole work together. I will have to get information from Amy to see if that levy and the bond can be used together in the same project, or it can be used differently.
Right, so what we would do is stack up against our list of priorities to determine whether this is higher priority than maybe some of the other items on our list. And so I think what we could do is do a little bit of work and bring that back all to you to say, you know, do we want to push something off, or do we want to make this a higher priority than maybe something else that's on our list for projects?
And so the other approach to this is do some outside fundraising, which is another possibility. I was looking at, you know, for example, what Renton did in their Performing Arts Center at Renton High School. And, you know, they actually sold some naming rights to it. They call it the Renton IKEA Performing Arts Center. That's a possibility. There's, you know, I still wonder about the LED lighting, why we can't get some grants from the state for, because it's an energy reduction. I mean, there's just a number of, King County for culture. I mean, there's a variety of things that doesn't look like, I mean, you talk about something that you went to OSBI for, the small grid modernization. You said the governor hasn't approved it as of this moment. Does that mean the legislature did, but he didn't sign it, or?
That I would have to do a little bit of research on. So we have applied for other modernization grants.
Yeah.
And I think it's so competitive because every single school district has needs.
Yeah.
And so we have been awarded in some of these grants that we've been applying for. So, we're stacked up against 294 other school districts around the state. So I don't know what they're using their scoring criteria and what their metrics are for awarding the projects to some of the school districts. So.
Director, like you have one.
I didn't want to talk over you, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, again, going back to the primary scope, I just wanted to draw the attention on the painting. Any facility on the inside probably needs to be painted every 10 years. I have no issue with that. But again, in taking a look, and this just piggybacks on what Director Larson was saying. When I look at the cost of the lighting, we're looking at maybe about $1.5 million in lighting or lighting related activities. And I'm having a struggle with that. I was going to also mention that there are a number of, Director Larson was saying about grants. Maybe there's an opportunity to raise funds in the community, sell naming rights, whatever it might be. And then I just have to say it again, because I don't feel like that it was enunciated enough, but I'm still really concerned about that safety issue and the 500,000 being in the secondary item. And no disrespect to the students and what you've chosen, but when it comes to safety, I just really feel like that has to be number one on our list. So at this time, I'd really like to see us go back and sharpen our pencils and address some of these costs. See if that could be maybe brought into a little bit more where we could get the project done for a little bit better price.
So the grants will take a while because we have to seek them, look for them, and they're very competitive. So there's no guarantees that we're going to receive any grants. So I'm throwing that out there that creates a delay in the projects that, we might want to move forward on. I have no problem doing it. I have no problem doing the research, but I'm just letting you know that.
And I'm just one vote.
Sometimes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just one vote.
I understand. Completely understand. So.
I guess the other, aspect of it is.
Hold on. We haven't had Director Poppy on yet, so I want to give it.
One thing I would be curious to know is what amount of revenue the PAC does generate for the school. Currently looking at the facilities rental fee schedule, I think it probably isn't a lot since we charge $120 per hour and it's a 4-hour minimum. So again, if we do decide to even support this, whether or not, will there be plans to increase the rent, the rent for this? Because we probably want to look at that. And if it is, then also what's the revenue, annual that we get from it. I think it would be interesting to know.
And Director Larson, if you wanted to close this out, I want to remind everyone this is a questions only. Is there an ask specific?
Yeah, I guess, sorry.
I know Liliana said that our ask is what direction we kind of want to go, but we're not voting on anything right now.
Yeah.
No, it sounds to me like we have a lot more work to do before we bring anything back to you as far as the proposal and recommendations from the board on what to move forward with as part of the projects and the use of the $2.4 million. So,
there's more. This is a complex project, so I have a number of other questions. You talk about acoustical towers, why was it decided to not do those? We have some of those. The motorized rigging, what is that? I'd be interested to hear from the students of that first. What's the trade-offs between doing a motorized rigging and not doing a motorized rigging? There's safety issues. So there's lots of questions on this one. And I've always been in favor of moving as quickly as we can on this, and then there's also the insurance money may be coming in at some point to offset. I mean, there's multiple things that are going on at the same time, so. I just want to make sure we may need to sequence it, but I want to make sure we're doing it in a way that, do the important things first and giving us maximum flexibility. So if the electrical is gonna start ripping walls apart, I want to and I don't know if that's true, but I want to make sure that we're doing it in a way, we have the end vision in mind, so we're not going to do something that we have to go back later and rip the walls out again or something. So there's a lot of different questions I have about this one.
Oh, yeah, and just in the interest of time, I wanted to kind of cut it where we're at right now.
Point of information for the board.
Go ahead.
I think since everyone else is getting a chance to speak, I think. let's
Oh,
give it
you
a
stick
as
around,
well.
absolutely.
I'm going to yield my time to Arden.
I have a point of information. In my personal opinion, we have a very nice pack facilities wise. We have a fly system, a safe catwalk, galleries, and space backstage. But our equipment is what sets us back. We barely have the bare minimum of lighting. Our light board is very, very old. The one we've been using is, for the past 2 years, is borrowed by AT because the one we had was not compatible for the lights we were using. Our PA system is bad and it's hard to hear choir concerts or plays or public speakers clearly. We have new microphones and a soundboard, but the speakers still make it hard to hear. Some of our curtains are torn or stained. If we want more dance groups, concerts, and events to use our pack, then we need to update all these things to keep them coming back.
Thank you. Amy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. In my 4 years in drama, every single year, it feels like I hear about the board. The board might be moving forward with the renovations. The board might be doing this. We might be getting new seats soon. And here comes my senior year and it's about to go by and barely a thing has been done. And it's kind of disheartening. I can't speak right now, but it's kind of disappointing, that we go from a $4 million project to a $2 million project. The number keeps going down and down. The scope keeps getting smaller and smaller. And our theater department and we don't have a drama teacher anymore. We don't have this anymore. We don't have that anymore. Everything is being left to rot, and it's the students that are keeping it alive. And I hope the board will consider moving forward with anything, since this has been promised to students again and again and again and again, and I don't know.
Thank you. Okay, just to summarize where we're at, our students have made a lot of good points. We are also looking into some further money funding and additional information. That's where we're at with this, correct? Unless I'm mistaken. And I also want to throw out a point that Hayden made, that this has been a 4-year election that levies and bonds have been involved, if I'm not mistaken. So I would highly recommend that as well. But for now, since we don't have this as an action item, we will definitely be moving into our next meeting with that. Anything to add? Okay, if not, we are moving into our action items with the approval of the overnight, thank you, Amy. Approval of the overnight field trip, Island Wood Outdoor Camp, Cascade View and Thorndike, 5th grade class with Scott Whitbeck.
Was there a motion?
No, it's an action item.
This is now moving into action items. The last one was questions.
Oh, I thought you approval of overnight. Missed that.
No, not yet. We're just now moving. Do we feel like we need any elaboration on some questions? Does the chair have a motion?
So, second.
All right, so just to make sure I'm doing this correct. It is moved and seconded that the approval of the overnight field trip Island Wood Outdoor Camp for Cascade View in Thorndike Elementary School, 5th grade class. Is there any discussion or to approve? No discussion?
Will be grand.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And ayes have it. The approval of the overnight field trip Island Outdoor Camp for Cascade View in Thorndike Elementary 5th grade class has been approved. All right, so moving into our next action item, the approval of the out-of-state travel request, NCCEP Annual Gear Up Conference, Washington DC, July 19th to the 22nd of 2026. That is also with you, Scott, if you guys didn't have any questions or anything to elaborate on. Okay, does the chair have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded that we will approve the out-of-state travel request, NCCEP Annual Gear Up Conference, Washington DC, July 19th to the 22nd, 2026. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. One more time. It has been passed with the approval of the out-of-state travel request, NCCEP Annual Gear Up Conference, Washington DC, July 19th to 22nd, 2026. All right, moving on to the next item. Approval of the overnight field trip, Nature Bridge Environmental Science School, Olympic National Park, July 8th to July 10th, 2026 with Amy Fleming. Was there any additional information needed from the questions? Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to ask the question, and there was an answer provided on how the students were selected. I just was wondering, sometimes trying to type up an answer to that is a little difficult versus just explaining it. The fact that a fairly small number of students are getting to go, I just want to make sure that it's open to the community as to who gets selected for that.
So Amy Fleming, Chief of Finance and Operations. So the GEAR grant is targeted to 7th and 8th grade students only. So they would open it up to the 7th and 8th grade community over at Showalter.
One sec, was that for the year or was that for the?
This is also GEAR Up.
Oh, this is also.
well. And so they will open it up to the 7th and 8th grade community. Over at Showalter for attendance at this overnight field trip.
Are many students applying for it? Are we having, I'm just 10 get to go, but are 20 applying?
That part I can't answer for you right now. I typically know that they only end up taking about 10 to 12 students. I believe this was similar to previous overnight field trips, so I don't know if it's an interest-based. I do know that they look at the students, they talk to the teachers for recommendations. It's those that are interested in STEM courses. And so sometimes your turnout may be not as high. But like I said, they look at also the teacher recommendations, student attendance, all of those factors come into play when they're deciding who's ended up going.
There's cultural factors too.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of our families aren't comfortable sending their kids to overnight events, so and that's a part of it. That's part of our diversity in our district.
Does the chair have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, so there is moved and seconded for the approval of the overnight field trip, Nature Bridge Environmental Science School, Olympic National Park, July 8th, July 10th, 2026. Is there debate? Any discussion? Yep.
I'd just like to say that, again, I appreciate the answers that were provided. I do just want to make sure that the community is well aware, very clear how students are being selected, that nobody's feeling slighted, that there's no favoritism involved, that it's a very clear thing, that it's well advertised amongst the students, so everybody gets the opportunity to at least apply. And like I said, that we can use the most, I don't know how other word to use than just fair. Because 10, when we have that many students in 7th, 8th grade that might have an interest, I think there's probably a lot of disappointed kids. And I just want this to be open, that's all.
Any other members wish to discuss? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Approval for the overnight field trip, Nature Bridge Environmental Science School for the Olympic National Park from July 8th to July 10th till 10th has been passed. Moving on to our approval of the 26-27 school year. Okay, does the chair have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, there has been a motion and a second for the approval of the 26-27 school year calendar. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. All right, the approval of the 26-27 school calendar has been passed. Moving into our approval of the new college in high school courses. Anything on the questions before? Does the chair have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The approval of the new college in high school courses has been passed. And lastly, we have our approval of letter protection of schools, sensitive locations. Does the chair have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded for the approval of the protection of schools, sensitive locations. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it. The approval of the letter protection of schools, sensitive locations has been passed.
And just to let you know, I will send that information up to the board member from the Bellevue School District who is putting this together and let her know that this happened, so.
Thank you so much for handling that for us. All right, so moving into our closing public comment. Is there anyone online?
There are people online that have hands raised.
Okay, if anyone has anything online for public comment, please raise your hand now. I'll give it 30 seconds. All right, does the chair have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned at 7:42.